Okay, so we're catching up with Skygoblin here at GDC, a game called The Journey Down, and you've just released the first episode. Can you tell us a little bit about what the concept of this game is?
Well, it's a classic point-and-click adventure game. Like think old LucasArts, Day of the Tentacle, Grim Fandango, those kind of things. So if you're familiar with the genre, you would feel right at home. That kind of game.
It feels like we've been talking to Double Fine, Datalic over this week. Feels like there's a real resurgence in this genre at the moment going on. Is that something you've experienced as well?
Absolutely, and also there's this beautiful thing going on where independent, small-time adventure game developers are getting together and really like helping each other out, reaching out, making contacts, those kind of things. And platforms are getting better for it. The distribution channels are getting better for it. Everything's just getting, it's on the right track. It's definitely moving in the right direction.
Is that something you've been doing here at GDC, hooking up with other developers, making similar games and sort of exchanging ideas?
Yeah, that was the main reason we went here, was to, we hosted a party last night with a bunch of other independent developers, and we actually managed to score got some of the big hotshots there. Ron Gilbert was there too, and Ragnar Törnqvist from Red Thread Games, so lots of cool people, like a melting pot of the new generation of adventure game developers, as well as legends, sort of like mixing and mingling. It was awesome. It was great.
So, what is the new generation of gaming? Is there something that you're doing differently, or is it sort of the essentials are still there from the golden age of adventure game?
Us personally, I wouldn't say we're pushing any boundaries. That's not what we do at Skygoblin. We've been going back to the golden age of point and click, but also simplifying and sort of refining the concept, making it a little bit more accessible to a newer audience. So, but I wouldn't say we are very progressive. That not our company, but in the indie adventure game community, certainly there's a lot of exciting progressive things going on. People are doing new things all the time.
Is that also something that the tablets has sort of been brought forward as sort of a forefront for adventure gaming these days? And have they sort of brought on also that you this kind of change to maybe, as you want to do, simplify things a little bit?
For us, yeah, absolutely. When we started designing The Journey Down, we knew, and that was a long time ago, we knew that touchscreens, that's going to be a big thing. So we decided really early on, to really simplify the UI and make it like one-click slide, that kind of thing. Worked great on PC, and now that we ported it to iOS, it works fantastic, because we knew all along that's the best interaction you can have, right? You can't beat that. That's a fantastic interaction. So yeah, I would definitely say that it's a wonderful platform, and people are now finally starting to figure out how to make good games on the iPad with a lot of narrative. It's starting to happen now. Like you see Simogo, other Swedish developers with the Airwalk. It's amazing, and it's popping up new things all the time. It's moving in the right direction, all of it.
That's really you could say it's a point and click, but it's also something entirely different.
Yeah,
and it's
I don't know how to define it. It's awesome, whatever it is. It's what we love is not necessarily point and click. We love narrative and character, and that kind of stuff. And however you want to portray that, it's just great, no matter how you do it.
So, have you perfected your sort of quick pitch for The Journey Down this week? Can you share the pitch? What's the pitch for the game?
Well, actually, I haven't been doing that much pitching. It's been my colleague Matthias, who's a coward. He doesn't want to be on the camera. He's been doing most of the pitching, and he came up with this awesome concept called the escalator pitch. So he's been standing outside of the press area, and every time he sees someone with a media badge,
that's how you got me.
Yeah, every time he sees one of those stepping onto the escalator, he goes onto the escalator with them, and he starts like, "Hi, my name is Matthias. I come from Skygoblin. We just released The Journey Down. Here's a Steam code." That whole thing, and then he steps off, and they walk away, and they have their code, and they have all the information, and then they forget each other. I don't know. It's pretty cool, anyways. It's a fun concept.
But you are working on the second episode now. Can you tell us something about where you're taking The Journey Down with the second episode?
Well, it's we're doing it's kind of a weird twist. People probably aren't ready for this. The first chapter of The Journey Down has a very positive, like laid back, happy vibration, naive thing going on. Chapter 2 is a lot darker. It's our main character, he's still going to have his hopes up, so don't worry. He's still a happy guy, but The environment in chapter 2 is a lot darker. The plot gets a lot darker, a lot more serious. So it's very different. Also visually, we chose a much darker palette. So the first chapter is like all bright, like Rasta colors, African, like deep red, dark, like all those beautiful yellow, green, those kind of things. Chapter 2 has this sort of film noir feel where it's rainy and it's dark and gloomy and everything's just depressing. So it's a very different game in many ways, which makes it a lot more fun to work on because it's completely different.
Is those sort of visuals, is that also indicative of the narrative and what you'll experience?
Absolutely. That's we like to tell this story through primarily I come from this as a backdrop artist. That's where I really came from. And I like to tell the story in the backdrops, like in the ambiance. You'll feel it. It's raining. You know it's something's gloomy and depressing because of that. And I like to tell the story with the weather, with the lighting, those kind of things. So yeah, it's definitely in the theme.
So what's the timeline ahead? When do you think that episode 2 will be out?
Well, you know what? We've been really careful saying anything. We used to say it's going to be out 2013 sometime, but now we decided we're not going to talk about it. So I'm not going to talk about it. And as for the rest of the arc, who knows? We're not planning kind of people. We do things on a whim, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
On a whim, but do you have like a story arc in mind that you'd like to do?
Yeah, the whole arc is, we've written the whole story, and it's 4 chapters. We know what's going to happen in these chapters, and we know what's going on, so don't worry about that. We got it figured out. Though I have to say, lots of the puzzles obviously aren't figured out, which is like the bulk of the design, frankly. So it's going to be a while before we're through this whole saga, to be honest, yeah.
All right, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Good God!